Welcome to Sun City News. I'm your host, Joanne Hines. Here are a few of the stories we have on the agenda for this week. Reporter Chris Chase checked out the Ukulele Club. Georgia Lash interviews a resident meteorologist. And later in the program, we have a Meet the Author event. Those stories and more coming up. Sun City News starts now.
This is Sun City News, with our news team bringing you stories from Sun City and the Low Country. Taking the lead with entertainment news. And on deck is our sports report. Sun City News, from people you know, about people you know. This week's SCTV News starts now.
The Ukulele Club was making Riverbend jump. Chris Chase found out how the club got started and what it is doing now from founder Jerry White.
Now, Jerry, this is a great club you've got. They sound wonderful. How long have you been around with it now?
Well, I moved in Sun City in 2003 and asked if there was a group that played ukulele. And they said, no, but we have an orchestra. I said, no, I don't think. He said, well, we have a dance band. Oh, he said, well, in Sun City, if you don't find what you want, put a note on the board and start one. So I did. I started strummers. And then as there came more people playing the ukulele, finally in 2017, I think, we started with the actual ukulele group itself. So we started with there was 7 of us, and now there's over 50.
Wow, that's quite a few.
Yeah. The way it works, people move here, the husband's playing golf. The wife's sitting at home saying, I want to do something. And she raised it, hey, I can play the ukulele. So they join the group, and that's why you see mostly women, and we have a lot of fun.
Well, sure, being the only guy in there, I'm sure you do.
Well, there are some of the guys that I can show them. But anyway, that's basically how we got started. You know, we go play a lot of the nursing homes and assisted living. And
That's nice.
The clubs, when they have their club outings, especially luau's. We're big on luau's because of the ukulele. And so we have a lot of fun. If they're not having fun, I'm doing something wrong. So that's why we're here.
Now, if you wanted to join the club, how much experience do you have to have? And
I even have loaners. I've got 15 ukuleles at home, so I can give somebody a ukulele if they want to learn how, and they don't want to decide what size they want. But basically, I start with what side the strings are on, and we go from there. So it's easy to play, and it's fun.
Now, if somebody wanted to join, how would they get a hold of you? In Sensations or?
I'm in Sensations. I'm also, there's a note on the bulletin board, I think it picked me, but I'm in the directory, the Sun City directory, so all you have to do is call or come out. Every Friday we're right here.
So every Friday you're here in Riverbend?
Yeah, and from 1 to 2 is beginners. Like I say, we start with where the strings are and we go from there. And then at 2 o'clock, the rowdy group, you can hear them in there.
I can hear them.
They get started, and we just play songs, go around the room, play songs. We got 250 songs in our songbook, and so we just play, we just have fun.
Now, you have to be able to read music, though, right?
No.
You don't?
No. You have to count to 5. Be able to count to 5 and know the alphabet from A to G. That's all there is. So that's your note.
That sounds like right up my alley.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you have to know. Once you have those 2 things, you're in. Have you ever passed the corner of 4th and Grand, where a little ball of rhythm has a shoe shine stain? People gather around and they clap their hands. He's a great big bundle of joy. Pops a boogie woogie rag, the Chattanooga shoe shine boy.
Getting information on Facebook can be frustrating, but sometimes informative. With the approach of Tropical Storm Debby, one of our residents did the heavy lifting to provide us with factual research to help us weather the storm. Appreciative comments were posted stating, "You should do weather reports on SCTV." So we decided to learn more about our social media meteorologist Tim Bowers.
Tim, you became so beloved by so many of our Facebook followers here in Sun City because we're desperate for information. You could tell that the new people had no idea what to expect. And I call you our version of a Sun City viral sensation. So with that title hanging over you, let's share your meteorologic experience.
Okay. Sure. I went to school for 4 years at Northern Illinois University. I studied meteorology, have a degree in meteorology. It's about an hour west of Chicago. And like any meteorologist that you would talk to, we had a love for it when we were children. You know, a lot of times accountants don't necessarily start off with, say, at 5 years old, I want to be an accountant or whatever. But meteorologists, we all started wanting to be meteorologists. So I, stayed with it and got a degree and did the 4 years there. Then I worked about 5 years for a company called Earth Satellite Corporation, where I did meteorology, agricultural forecasting for Chicago Board of Traders and any other agricultural interests. And did that for 5 years, not just for the U.S., but also for all forecasting all throughout any parts of the world that had cash crops. So had quite a bit of experience with that. I got paid. And one thing led to another. I left the business at that time, but still maintained a healthy love of the weather and forecasting ever since then. So
Now, I noticed doing my research with you, about you, that it's really just stalking you on Facebook. You had probably done, I think you mentioned that you had done some work on TV.
Yeah.
You had done some broadcasting. And so in this case, with our Facebook post, I noticed that you did post some when you first moved here.
yes.
And yet it felt like with Tropical Storm Debby, there was something that really prompted you to give us in-depth information. Tell us about that.
Well, that morning, Saturday the 3rd, 5:30 in the morning, 5:20 in the morning when I got up, first thing I do is check my phone and see what the weather's. I knew for a couple of days that Debby, before it was even a tropical depression, had some kind of possibility of coming around these parts. And by then, it became a tropical depression on Saturday morning. So I felt it was necessary because of the path and because of all the rain it was going to be forecast. Then about 6 to 8 inches. I thought it was twice as much. I probably needed to say something about it. Yeah, in the past, I might have said, hey, there's some storms coming in just for a few minutes or something like that. That was no big deal. So I just felt it was necessary for me to say, hey, for my edification, to say, I got to get my gutters cleaned. I needed to go tell anybody else, get your gutters cleaned, get things tied down. So I felt it was just necessary time. But it's not the first time I ever did this before, provide this kind of information on Facebook. I did it before back when I was living in Germany. Started a group out there, page out there, forecast for snow and heat waves and it kind of thunderstorms. So it's nothing new. I just felt, with Debby being a threat last summer, there was no real tropical storms of any threat here. So it was not necessary for me to say anything. But Debby was something that I thought was worth talking about.
You became our Bluffton voice because we hear about Savannah, we hear about Charleston. We're just kind of right there in the middle. It was nice to have a local.
Yeah, it was good. Yes.
Still more to come. Our SCTV crew checked out the moving of the Woodworkers Lighthouse to Tybee Island. Our SCTV crew checked out the beauty of our lagoon's wading birds. And Ann Parente checks out the set of the Savannah Sipping Society. We'll return after this brief break.
The August edition of Sports Done Right is chock full of stories which reflect the commitment of Sun City residents to charitable causes while, at the same time, enjoying the amenities Sun City has to offer. We also have in-depth interviews with the champions of the recent Sun City Golf Open, the president of the ever-growing Table Tennis Club, and the fun-loving group of water volleyball players, including our very own reporter, Chris Chase. All that and more in the August edition, so please join me, Doug Wright, for Sports Done Right.
Sun City TV invites you to join our crew. Our growing technology presence requires enthusiastic, creative volunteers. No previous TV experience needed. Email us at suncitytvhh@gmail.com.
The Woodworkers' beautiful lighthouse was set up on its new home. Reporter Chris Chase went to Tybee Island to watch the presentation.
We're here with the Woodworkers to deliver a 7-foot model of the harbor town's 93-foot lighthouse. It was commissioned by the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary and will be displayed at Tybee Station Museum. So Susan, it was the auxiliary that really wanted this. How did it all come about?
Well, mainly, as you know, U.S. Coast Guard Station Tybee, this building was just built 6 months ago. And we thought it would be great for the Coast Guard to feel the appreciation of the community for what we use them for all the time. They rescue, they search and rescue, they manage our waterways, they manage all of the aids to navigation on the waterways. They work very hard. And this is just a reminder of that the community appreciates them. So this is just a symbol of that.
Now, how did you commission the Woodworkers?
Well, that was actually my husband, Bob, who did that. So I don't know how he did it, but I guess through his knowledge of the carpentry, the guild, he thought that the best way to have something like this done was to use the guild. And it was actually in combination with Nadia at from the Harbortown Lighthouse, the actual store. And she helped us connect and get the idea.
We're here with the builders of this beautiful lighthouse. And you are?
Tom Kelly.
Susan Zimmerman.
Ken Kramer.
Carl Franz.
Now, exactly how long did it take to build this?
This took several months from the start of the concept of this whole thing until we finally are here, was several months. Probably 6, would you say, in total? At least.
And you each did something separately to build this?
We all did something separately. In the case, a couple of times, because I didn't do one right the first time, so I had to redo it. But Susan primarily built the column here, which was one of the toughest things to do because of all of the router work that was required to make these joints fit together without having to use nails or screws or anything like that.
Susie, you did a beautiful job. Well, you all did a wonderful job, and the results is fantastic, and I'm sure the Coast Guard appreciate it.
And Ken did this. His design, his concept, his ideas. Carl was very involved with all of the cutting of all of these, the intricacy of this to make all of these angles work right was what Carl was doing on the router as well as the table saw.
We love seeing the majestic beauty of our lagoon's wading birds in flight or posing at water's edge. Thanks to the newly formed Friends of Lifelong Learning Group, we learned more about these creatures.
Al, it is a privilege to talk with you, and I'm really excited to hear about the background you're bringing us from your work with the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. What was involved?
I wore a lot of hats. I was a veterinarian with the DNR, and so worked a lot of sea turtles, a lot of marine mammal health, seabird die-offs, kind of what the disease of the day. In addition to that, I got to work up in the Ace Basin and do a lot of education, outreach, a lot of conservation-oriented projects up there. So it was the best of both worlds. I was very, very blessed to spend nearly 20 years working with DNR.
Well, you've probably learned so much. You're going to be sharing today about wading birds. Yes. And I think those of us who live here, we've fallen in love. So it's going to be so interesting. But what is our prolific bird population of wading birds in the low country? What should we be expecting?
Well, driving in today, I saw a great blue heron and a great egret. So they like water. So where there's water, there's food. Habitat's a big thing. And so we're going to talk about all the wading birds we'll see. To me, wading birds are kind of iconic with the low country. When you think of the low country, you think of that great blue heron sitting on that limb over the marsh, and that's the low country. So it's very important. Habitat's the key. You know, just like us, they need a good place to live, clean water, clean food, place to have babies. And if they've got that, they'll do okay. But we're under a lot of challenge here in the low country with the growth. So we need to protect those habitats for them.
So we are thriving at this point, but are we at risk? You're mentioning the growth.
Sure, yeah. Every big development, and we're all the problem. You know, humans are kind of our own worst enemies sometimes. And every big land clearing we do, we're taking the home of some wildlife away. And that's not to say we can't and shouldn't have development, but we need to be wise about where we do it. And there's certain areas that just shouldn't be developed, and certain areas that are more appropriate developed. So not no growth, but smart growth.
Now, again, I know I live on a lagoon and just love seeing someone swooping across that water. But is there something that we should be personally responsible for maintaining and making sure that our bird population is preserved?
Again, goes back to habitat. A little thing like here, as I'm looking out on this lagoon now, and riding in today, the birds that I saw were feeding in areas that had vegetation along the edge. They were not mowed right down to the edge of the water. And that means there are little frogs, there are insects, and so there's food. And if there's food, you're going to have birds. So that's something as a community. I see some areas are a little wild on the edge. Some areas you mowed right down to the edge. Birds need that little wild edge for food, protection, and that's something you could easily do.
That was hard to get used to, but I am used to it, and we do preserve that. So I'm glad that we're doing the right thing. Now, I would love to have you tell us, you are an advocate for the Open Land Trust of Beaufort County. Please explain its mission and its benefit to us.
Really to protect those special places for generations to come. Again, there's some places that should never be developed. They're just so special, and once they're gone, they're gone. So I think the staff and the people who work with the Land Trust wholeheartedly feel we need to protect these special places for generations to come. And that takes people like you and me supporting them. We all don't have plantations that we can put conservation easements on, but we can write a check to the Open Land Trust, and they're doing a great job with the money we give them to do it. I hope today that the people that come to look about wading birds, if some of them go home and go to the Open Land Trust site and join, then my coming over here today has been well worth it.
Reporter Ann Parente got behind-the-scenes look at the set decorating for Savannah Sipping Society. Let's take a look.
I'm here at Pickney Hall, where later this month, Sun City Theater will be performing the hilarious play, Savannah Sipping Society. Kathy, tell me what's going on here today.
Today is when the construction crew has brought over the set. Now understand, we do all this construction off-site at a warehouse over on Argent Boulevard, where there is no heat and there is no air conditioning. So we painted all of the set there, and then they bring it here, reconstruct it, and now we are putting on the finishing touches. We're adding the clapboard to the veranda and all these little touches that just make it special.
How did you get involved with set decoration?
Well, when we moved here, they had 3 teams that were doing set decoration, and I'd owned an interior design company in Raleigh for years and thought this might be my chance, and so that's when I signed up to help. We've been doing this now. This is our 25th set.
Oh, wow. Okay. So what exactly does set decoration entail? Do you pick colors or make designs?
All of that. We do. I pick all the colors, first read the script, figure out what time frame we're in, what kind of a set it needs to be, then pick the colors, and then everybody on our team has a specialty. And so we all get together, and sometimes what we've designed and what the colors that we've chosen, sometimes they don't work, and we all look at it and go, no, and start over. So it's just very fun. But we do all of that, and we put all of that together, paint the whole set over at our warehouse on Argent, and then when we bring it over is when we add the paintings and we add the furniture, and that's what we're doing here today. Once we get the clapboard on the veranda, we're going to be bringing in the furniture and the plants and all that fun stuff.
Oh, cool. Well, I can see your team behind us, and they look like they're having a great time. If someone wants to join your team and work on set decoration, what should they do?
They can always give me a call. I'm in the book, but they can certainly just check with the theater, because each director chooses who they want to decorate the set.
Joanne, can you tell me, how did you get involved with set decorating?
Well, I met someone in the theater club, and they said, gee, they're looking for somebody to help with scenery. I said, I used to do that in high school. I'd be glad to do it. So that was my first indoctrination into the theater. My first time painting the set, I was painting a kitchen, and all of a sudden the lights went on and they were having a rehearsal, and I was stuck in the kitchen during the rehearsal.
So I hear everyone has a specialty. I guess painting is yours?
Yes, I wannabe artist.
What a fabulous behind-the-scene looks at the new production that's coming up at the end of this month, Savannah Sipping Society. I've got my tickets and I can't wait to see it.
Still much more ahead on Sun City News. Georgia Lash is filling in with entertainment news. Our SCTV crew attended the recent Meet the Author event, and Doug fills us in on what's happening in sports. So stay with us.
Sun City TV invites you to join our crew. Our growing technology presence requires enthusiastic, creative volunteers. No previous TV experience needed. Email us at suncitytvhh@gmail.com.
Let's head over to Georgia Lash for some entertainment news.
Plans can change, so if you find yourself with some free time, be sure to check out what events are still available right here in Sun City. Let me help you make your choices. Let's start. If you're looking to bring out your inner Scotty Scheffler, on Wednesday, September 4th, there are 3 time slots available for you to partake in So Glow Party. Glow Vibe Golf turns Pinckney Hall into an 18-hole indoor mini glow golf course. This is a 4-person team event. Tickets are $15 and includes equipment. Or BYOP, bring your own putter. Cash bar services are available. Another option, head out to the pavilion on Saturday, September 14th for Music in the Square with Tokyo Joe headlining. Tickets are $12. Bring your own chair and seek out that spot in the limited shade. Gates and cash bar services open at 6 p.m. and the music starts at 7. There's always time for happy hour, especially one with a beautiful view. Get your tickets for Lodge Hour at Riverbend on September 17th at 4 p.m. You'll enjoy live music by Corey Tate and hors d'oeuvres by Downtown Catering. Bar services are available as no outside food and beverages are permitted. Tickets are $15 and the doors open at 3 p.m. If your inner Picasso is calling you, sign up for Paint and Pinot on Monday, September 23rd at 2 p.m. at Pinckney Hall. You'll paint an 11 by 14 canvas of a sandy boat. Tickets are $42 and include supplies and wine. You're welcome to bring your own snacks, and you're encouraged to bring an apron. Okay, one more opportunity. More music, more fun. Tickets are available for live and local with music by Charleston band Soulfish. Held on Thursday, September 26th, and the tickets are $18. Doors and cash bar services open in Pinckney Hall at 6 p.m., and that music is going to start at 7. For these events, tickets can be purchased online and at Lifestyle Services. So, fill up that calendar with fun.
SCTV attended August Meet the Author event where featured author Donna Keel Amar unravels a mystery within lavish low country and Italian settings.
Who doesn't love reading a good mystery? This month's Meet the Author features Donna Keel Armour, who delivers a compelling mystery series with her 2 books, The Red Starfish and Moringa Tree of Life. Let's meet the author.
The siblings, and there was always a story hour before bedtime, and so while I was still in the womb, I was being read to. And as soon as I was old enough, I had my first library card. And then one of the stories I loved to tell, when I was in 2nd grade, our assignment was to write an autobiography. And everybody showed up with the 1-page essay, and I showed up with the manuscript.
Okay.
But I let that passion go.
I was going to say.
I let it go.
Wow. It's funny how our lives get derailed. They really do. But you're back.
I'm back.
You're back, and Pat Conroy would be so proud. He would be so proud. Now, you've got to tell us, what can we anticipate in the series and maybe in other writing projects that we can look forward to?
The greatest thing that happened to me recently was I was Zooming with my publisher again, and I said to her, I'm halfway through the manuscript in the 3rd book in the series, which is called One Note Murders. And I said, Kat has said to me, I can't go on. there has to be a decision made. Will there be another book? Because if there's not another book, I've got to figure out how to end this book to make it right. She said, but she's in Italy in the third book. She says, I want to come home to the Low Country. I want another book. So I said to my wonderful publisher, Stephanie, I said, Kat wants book number 4. She says, well, we better listen to her. So there will be a book number 4. And then I'm also dabbling with 2 nonfictions. And I'm pretty excited about both of those. And I don't want to reveal them quite yet.
Okay.
But I've also been writing short travel stories, and I've been in 3 anthologies, travel anthologies. I've got short stories, and one on Paris, one on London, and one on Rome. So I'm just writing all the time. I love it. I'm happiest when I'm doing that. I'm just in love with it.
And thank you for making us so happy reading all of these things that you're working so hard at.
Thank you.
Readers can keep up with you via your website. Is that a good approach?
Yes, that's a very good approach. My website, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, all the usual places.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you for sharing your time. We're excited to hear your presentation where we're going to even learn more.
Thank you so much, Georgia. It's been a delight.
Now let's check in with Doug Wright for some sports news.
Attention golfers. Registration for the Birdie's Beer and Barbecue event is open. This event is an 18-hole scramble with 4 players per team to be held at Argent Lakes on Saturday, September 7th with a 1 p.m. shotgun start. Don't delay, as this event usually sells out and you may have to get on a waiting list. Also this week, we'll see the publication of the Popular Golf Clinic series of instructional sessions for the month of September. Again, act quickly, as these clinics usually sell out in a hurry. And as previously noted, the fall season of 4 softball leagues commences at 8:30 a.m. on August 27th with Tuesday-Thursday league games. Come out and have a hot dog later on this opening day and enjoy some really good ball games. And finally, our 20th episode of the monthly show Sports Done Right will start airing on September 2nd with a great profile of 2 residents still enjoying their sports adventures and expanded coverage of our very active residents in action. Remember, you absolutely need to set aside your addictive devices, get involved, and get your body in motion. Doug Wright, Sun City Sports.
To view expanded coverage of sports news, check out Doug's monthly show, Sports Done Right. Well, that's our news for this week. Thanks for watching. Check us on cable and on our YouTube station, where we invite you to hit like and subscribe. To see expanded coverage of some of our SCTV stories, tune into our monthly show, Extra. For questions and comments, email us at suncitytvhh@gmail.com. Now check in with us next week for all the news that is in your neighborhood. For Sun City News, I'm Joanne Hines.
Sun City TV invites you to join our crew. Our growing technology presence requires enthusiastic, creative volunteers. No previous TV experience needed. Email us at suncitytvhh@gmail.com.